so when many comedy clubs and theaters and theater companies went completely dark during COVID, you said you took all your classes and programming digital. Could you
Yes.
tell us about that process?
That was really, really tough. But in 5 years, we've never taken a weekend off. And we're not going to let the pandemic, get in the way of that. Peter is very much concerned with what's the next thing we can do? Where's the next place we can go? How can we make this even better? And so when the pandemic hit, he was very much like, let's just do it online. Let's do it online. Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out as we go, but let's not let a minute pass where people are able to forget about Villain Theater. And also just for our company members. So much effort goes into the Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday shows, which generate no revenue, zero. But we love doing this. We want to keep doing this. We want to be the name for improv, sketch, and stand-up comedy and training in Miami, Florida. And so there is no time to stop. Um, there are certainly things that we've had to accommodate to be more efficient on Zoom, you know. But the brilliance of the people who work at Villain Theater and who dedicate their time to Villain Theater is unlimited. You know, a lot of people are saying you can't do musical improv on Zoom. It doesn't work. There's a lag. There's this. There's that. Priscilla Blanco figured it out, and on Friday, we're going to have a musical improv showcase after our Comedy Clash, which is our short form show. All of these people were, they took 6 weeks to learn music theory, musical improv, and they're going to show their work this Friday. They said it couldn't be done, but it's fucking done. Now, and other types of classes are easy on Zoom. Our 5 for 5 stand-up workshop class is basically a peer editing workshop kind of class. Everyone gets 10 minutes to do 5 minutes of material and then get 5 minutes of feedback from absolutely everyone. And you as the performer are not allowed to speak. You just have to listen. You can't justify any of your choices. You have to just take notes and not be like, oh, but this, but the. It doesn't matter. If the audience didn't understand it like that, you have to take that objective note and change. And so that's a class that was easily transferable to an online format. For VT1, we're reshaping the curriculum to be more, we're not going to make them do physical activities and all this other stuff. Like, that's just not practical, right? But when you get to the core of what our improv curriculum really teaches and how we differentiate ourselves from other improv theaters is the term react and add. I know everyone knows of improv and immediately thinks yes and. Okay, if you call me a whore, hey mom, you're a whore, I'm not gonna go yes and, son, you're my favorite son. And so there's a certain level of restriction with the phrase yes and. But when you get to a place, when you start to understand the phrase react and add, well, there you have the theatrical element of the reaction, what really brings people to identify with your character, to sympathize with your character, to relate to your character. And then you have the addition of the information, which progresses the conversation forward. But when you don't have that emotion present, it can often feel flat. It can often feel repetitive. You get a lot of doctor-patient scenes, mother-daughter scenes. But when you're looking for the nature of the relationship, and we can't coin that one, the nature of the relationship is a phrase coined by Dave Pasquazi, I believe, who is on Veep, who I had the pleasure of not only having him at the theater, he did a workshop with TJ Jagodowski, but then we went to dinner together. And those dudes are the nicest people in the world. And I had no idea how important he was. And then I turned on the Amy Sedaris show, and I was like, oh, Tony Pugnalata. Like, I was so incredibly, and then, Strangers with Candy, it just kind of like flew over my head. But when you get to the nature of the relationship and you think react and add, you're in an you're in a new territory for improv. You're not in the territory of what's the game of the scene, or what's the funniest part of the scene. All of those are great things to remember, but fundamentally, to make this a transformative theatrical experience, you have to react and add and get the nature of the relationship, which is always different. Your relationship with your mother is different from my relationship with my mother. Mother, daughter, those are titles. That's not a relationship, right? So we're trying to build people and their confidence in speaking, in relating, and being explosively emotional, like my boo Jim Carrey.
And how do you set that up? I mean, because you say, okay, the titles are mother daughter, but let's say you're setting a scene, you go, okay, your mother, your daughter.
Yeah.
So that's the
But we don't.
outline.
We don't.
Okay. So how do
We
you set
don't.
that up?
We give a suggestion of a word. So give me a suggestion of a word. Go.
Octopus.
Octopus. I'm going to play a two-person scene with my fingers, okay? Octopuses have more brains than humans. Did you know that? Oh my God, I just ordered calamari. What have I done? I can't do that. That's not something that I can't live in a world where I've eaten something that's smarter than me. Well, to be fair, I think you've eaten things that are smarter than you before, but that's neither here nor there. Let's order something else. We don't tell people like mother daughter. We don't tell people like be angry here. We tell people come up with whatever you want to. The titles and the labels, they're irrelevant to your performance and the emotion and the commitment to your scene.